thank you for joining us here on the NPTE Final Frontier podcast. My name is Dr. David Friedberg.
And my name is Dr. Emily Gerby. Today, we are focusing on gait deviations from the hip, the knee, and the ankle. We're going to be looking at all of those patterns, and we're going to dive into this in a 3-part series. So listen up for part 1 of our gait deviation series.
And part of listening it up is listen up to this oncoming question. A patient demonstrates a backward trunk lean during stance phase on the left lower extremity. Which of the following is the most likely cause? Is it option A, weak left hip extensors? Option B, weak left hip flexors? Option C, weak right hip extensors? Or is it option D, weak right hip flexors?
All right, David. So let's break down this question. So the key here is identifying the phase first. This is the stance phase on the left leg. So remember, during the stance phase, the hip extensors, particularly that glute max, are responsible for controlling what? It controls forward trunk movement. So if that muscle is weak, what would happen? The patient would compensate by leaning which way? They would be leaning backwards to maintain stability and keep their center of mass posterior to the hip joint. Remember, they're going to be keeping their center of mass posterior to the hip joint because the patient is compensating by leaning backwards. All right, so now that we know what's happening, let's go through these option choices. So first up, we had option A, weak left hip extensors. Right off the bat, that is the correct answer choice. Because remember, weak left hip extensors lead to that backward trunk lean during left stance phase. So right off the bat, option A is correct. But let's not forget about those other option choices. Option B was our weak left hip flexors. Well, that is incorrect because hip flexors primarily function during which phase? Our hip flexors are more during our swing phase, not so much our stance phase, so we can cross off option B. Next up, we had option C, weak right hip extensors. Well, this is incorrect because this is describing the wrong side. The deviation is occurring when the left leg is in stance phase, so the impairment must be on the left side, which is why C is incorrect. And then finally, we had option D, weak right hip flexors. Again, this is incorrect because it involves 2 wrong components, the wrong side as well as the wrong phase. Because remember, our hip flexors are more apparent during our swing phase. That's when they're going to be more active. And it would not be an issue on the right side. This would be an issue on the left side. Which again is why option A, our weak left hip extensors, is the correct answer choice for this question. Great job.
Now, it's important to note that this is where one of the most important rules for gait comes into play. Do you know what that is? No? All right, I'll tell you. It's the magnet rule. All right, so during stance phase, the trunk shifts towards the weak muscle. So if you see a trunk deviation during stance, always ask yourself which muscle should be controlling that movement and assume weakness is on that same side.
Also, don't forget to remember this rule, this magnet rule that David just explained, only applies during the stance phase, okay? Once you move into swing phase, you have to think differently. This is a very common trap on the NPTE, and now I know you won't make this mistake for your upcoming exam.
Now that you heard this episode of the podcast, here is a quote from Confucius. It does not matter how slowly you are going as long as you don't stop. Warriors, no matter where you are at in your journey right now, do not stop moving forward. Do not look back behind you. It's not worth it. And guess what? When you do look behind you, as you're trying to progress forward, what are you likely to do? You're going to fall down. You're going to trip yourself up. Don't look behind you. Keep your eyes forward and keep on going after all of your goals and all of your dreams. You are powerful. You are strong. You are a final frontier warrior. You will pass.
Thank you very much for listening. For more information on the NPTE Final Frontier, please visit npteff.com. You can also go check out all of our social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X.
Till next time, have a great day and a powerful tomorrow.